Hey everyone, Alan Bauer here in Bay City, Michigan. It is Friday night, so happy Friday, everybody. If you're still working, you made it through another week. Hopefully, you have the weekend off, like Karen and I do. So, I wanted to talk a little bit more tonight about some things I see going on. I read this article about the whole COVID thing, and the military said that if anybody tests positive for the COVID virus, the COVID 19 virus, that'll be a disqualification from entry into the military. They would have to get a waiver. And I found that kind of odd. I'm thinking, why does this require a waiver? Why is this going to be a disqualification? And I'm thinking, how many people are eventually going to be affected by this? Because I know they talk about, flattening the curve and slowing it down, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to get around to a bunch of people. So there's still going to be a lot of people that get it. It just kind of stretches the time out longer from my understanding of it. And I'm not claiming to be an expert or anything on this. Now, the other thing I see, I get a lot of, I'm a licensed insurance agent, and I get a lot of letters from these life insurance companies, and even a lot of the supplemental health insurance companies. And a lot of them are starting to ask about COVID information. They want to know if you tested positive for it before. So, some of my friends that are selling life insurance, I see they're hitting record sales right now because a lot of people they realize they have this window of opportunity right now where some of the insurance companies, like the life insurance companies, are not asking the COVID 19 question. So a lot of people are jumping on the life insurance, but now once this window of opportunity closes, you may not be able to get normal rates on life insurance if you've ever had COVID 19, also known as the coronavirus. So I found that very interesting too. But I did read one article on it, and I don't know, is this something like the government's not telling us? Do they know something? The part about the military kind of makes me wonder that, like, what else is behind this? Why would they want to bar people from coming in the military if they've ever tested positive for this? Now, on the life insurance side, I read this one article and they said, the insurance industry doesn't like any surprises. They like everything black and white, so that's why they're asking all the questions. Until they know more, they may block some people. And that looks like that's going to come down quickly on this. So, very interesting stuff on it. I just brought it up. I don't have any other point to it other than I just think it's very interesting. With the military barring people and the life insurance may be turning down, or insurance companies may be turning down people for life and health insurance on that, like supplemental health insurance. So I just found that kind of interesting. So my point is, we don't really know what's going on with this, where it's going. I also read another article today. They're talking about Michigan, and they did this survey, and they said only 28% of all Michigan businesses are absolutely sure that they're going to make it through this COVID, through this pandemic. So I found that very interesting too. That means 72% aren't sure. They don't know if they're going to make it through this. So I'm looking at some things that, possibilities that could come down the future. If this thing really is something where there's more to it than there is, and there's all these businesses going out, and we have, like, in Michigan right now, like, I don't know, 1.3, 1.4 million people out of 4 million workers are have filed for life, or not life insurance, unemployment insurance. So you're going to have like 1 out of 3 people that are collecting unemployment insurance. And then there's some other talk too about, we have the stimulus check that they sent everybody, like a one-time payment of $1,200. And a lot of people said, hey, that's not enough. It's just a little band-aid for people. It's not going to get them through. What about the people that don't have unemployment and all this and that? They have no income. They can't get a job now because all these businesses are shut down. So there's talk too about something that's kind of like a basic guaranteed income. And this concept for the basic guaranteed income has actually been around since Richard Nixon. Back then, they were going to pass this, but then some of the people in Congress wanted higher benefits, so they voted it down at the time because they wanted the benefits to be higher. I think they were going to give like $1,000 a month to every U.S. citizen, adult U.S. citizen at the time. Well, then the whole impeachment thing happened with Nixon, and you know what happened there. Then it just all kind of went away. But then there's been some talk about it, and people talked about it in certain circles, but you never really saw it coming up until now. And the reason being is because there's so many people out of work or going to have their income cut off. Like right now, I think Michigan, most he gets $362 a week for unemployment, but then the federal government kicked in another 600, so people can get like $962 a week, but that runs out in July. Well, there's talk about extending that through December. Then there's other talk about, hey, let's just give everybody, every adult, $2,000, and we're going to do that for a minimum 6 months or until this pandemic runs its course. So if there's issues too with like restaurants, they're talking about opening it, but they don't want a lot of people in there because they're afraid the virus can spread. So they're saying, hey, we may let you open this up at 25% capacity, 50% capacity. A lot of restaurants are saying, we can't be profitable at that. Our model that we built this restaurant was to park a butt in every seat so we can make a good profit. A lot of them said we can't even be profitable at 50%, not let alone 25%. So some may have the money to sit there and wait and hope that it goes up to 100%. A lot of them have just closed up permanently. So you're going to have all these people out of work. And if there is a problem like putting people to work, I really see automation kicking in here too, like robots, things like that. You don't have to worry about a robot getting coronavirus, getting sick, infecting other robots. So I think there's really going to be a big push on this. And it's going to happen a lot faster. I think a lot of changes are coming down the pipeline here. So when it comes to business, do you really want a traditional business anymore? I mean, there's a lot of risk in there unless you can go to something that's automated, something that's online, something that, you don't have to have employees, things like that, something where you're not going to get shut down. And you got to watch the supply chains, everything like that too. Like even though you're selling stuff like at CTFO, we sell our CBD, CBDA products. We sell the glutathione precursor, all the immunity boosters, the vitamins, the Super 7, all these immunity boosters, the hand sanitizer. We got hair products that regrow hair. You have pet products, skincare products, sun care products, after sun care products, all this stuff. But you got to watch the supply chains too, because they still have to manufacture this. So I think we're sitting pretty good. Everything that we sell is considered essential. So as long as those supply chains can keep coming in and making that, our business is a good model. And we've still been getting a check. Now it did get hit. We got hit just like everybody else when the pandemic started out. But, it picked back up, after people were shocked. It was kind of like 9/11 hitting. It's like all the businesses came to a screeching halt. Nobody knows what was going to happen. Once people get a little more stability or sense of stability of what's going on, things start picking back up. People started getting unemployment. They started getting stimulus checks. A lot of people found out they still had jobs, or other jobs opened up that weren't there before. So a lot of changes going on. So I am glad that we have the online business model. Karen and I had actually talked quite a bit before. We thought about doing like a regular normal retail business. Like if we could buy a building, have the whole downstairs like all office space like downtown, and then have the upstairs fixed into, a nice apartment to live in up there. That was kind of our plan. I'm glad we didn't do that because this thing hit now, and it's like, whew, I'm glad I don't have this. We have some friends of ours that owned restaurants that sold a building, and I'm thinking they're pretty lucky they got out of it at the time. And then I know people that bought these buildings and open up a new restaurant, and then all of a sudden they get hit with this. I'm sure They weren't planning on that. And these were like popular places. And if you can only pack so many people in, there's just so many changes. Nobody really knows exactly what's going on. All they can do is guess. But I am very thankful and grateful that we have the online business, and I do recommend people come up with something on their own too. Like, what do you have? Even if you have a job right now, how secure is it? What we used to think is secure really isn't secure anymore. Some people love their job, some people hate their job. I think this is the perfect opportunity, though, to sit there and decide, hey, what do I want to do? Now is the time to make changes. Because other than that, everybody's just kind of coasting along, life's going as normal. And then all of a sudden there's this major boom, it just knocks us all back. And we have to think, like, what do we really want in life? So if anybody is interested, in the products as a customer, you can go to cbdaglobal.com. Again, that's CBDA. A is in the first letter of the alphabet, so cbdaglobal.com. If you are interested in the business opportunity, you can see it on there too. So you see the business opportunity, or you could go to joincbda.com. Again, that's joincbda.com. And I just wanted to throw that out there. Very interesting things going on. I don't have the answers on everything. I see things going on, and I just kind of like to throw that information out there. Let me hear your opinion on it. What do you think? What do you guys think? Is what I'm talking about, is some of that could happen? You have a different vision? Is everything just going to go back to normal? I mean, what do you think? Shoot me some comments on here, and that's all I got for tonight. Karen and I are going to watch a movie here shortly, so we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good evening.